Well, hey, welcome everybody to another Tech Tip Tuesday. Here we are, middle of June, June 18th. Oh my gosh. And month's already flying by. My name's Ken Close, electronics engineer, Healy World member USA, pioneer from the good old days. And I'll be your host tonight. I am joined by our amazing co-host, Jake Barron, head of operations for the Americas. Hey, Jake.
Hey Ken, good evening, everyone.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we've got our superstar in the customer service agent department. Henry is joining us tonight in the chat area. You guys make sure to say hello to Henry. Thank you for being here. He's going to be assisting back there in the chat. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So you guys that are pioneers also to the Tech Tip Tuesday, you know what we do here. But those of you that are new, just joining us for the first time, this is a chat-based forum where you guys put all your questions in the chat. And then Henry will be back there with lightning fingers doing some fun stuff. And then Jake and I will also be bringing those live on the call and unpacking those interesting questions and helping you guys out with a better understanding. Pretty much we talk about all kinds of things. I mean, the apps, the technology, the theory, the frequencies, the way they work. I mean, we get into all kinds of fun stuff. What we can't talk about, though, is anything that has to do with disease, diagnosis, illnesses, or preventions of anything like that in the medical world. But we do have resources to point you if you need information about that as well. So with that, I say we get this party started. How about that, Jake?
Sounds great. I'm ready to go.
Kind of a light crowd this evening. I mean, we were here last week. We had a few great questions. That was great.
Yeah,
Uh, I love it when,
started slow but finished strong. So
yeah, right. I like it when we can get a little bit of time to start out slow, get our
yeah.
bearings. We're having a heck of a storm here, by the way. Where I'm at, I'm on the West Coast, up in the Pacific Northwest,
Oh wow.
opposite side of the continent from Jake.
Yeah.
But we're having a heck of a storm here, so hopefully my internet stays intact.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? This is a techie call, so we may have all kinds of techie success.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So fire off some questions. Let's see what we got. Anything you guys want to know about? And by the way, if you got friends out there, invite them to this call. I hear this all the time. People are saying, I didn't know you guys did that. I'm going to join. Well, where are they? Right. So here we go. Lindley's got one. I don't know where everybody else is. um, let's see. Something I see on a few Facebook pages is people are asking about info on the I-Ching and Healy. Um, is it very, very cold in Sydney, or it is very, very cold in Sydney? So something about the I-Ching. So again, a database, folks, if you're not familiar with some of the stuff that's really super cool in the HealAdvisor Analyse app, there are databases in there that you can do analysis on a client, right? And then you can use the results or find alignments or optimizations for the client through various databases, and I-Ching is one of them. There's, if you just Google that, by the way, you'll find some pretty cool stuff, but it's a very ancient technology, right? And a lot of cool stuff within that database. I'm not an expert there, but a lot of people love it. Jake, anything you want to put in there?
Yeah. So I was gonna say it was the end of last year. We maybe last fall. We did a Healy for Beginners Beyond on all the different databases in the Analyze app, and we went through. It's on our YouTube channel. I'll see if since we have some time here, maybe I'll try to find that recording on our YouTube channel. But we went through and we talked a little bit about I-Ching, and I think Doc Steve was the one that covered that database. because he has more experience actually using that as well. But for those of you that are wondering what is this, one of the cool things about the Analyze app is that in the new app, when you click on the database, you can click on it for further information, and it'll tell you kind of a description of what that database is. And then I'll find the YouTube recording, but if you just look on the thing here, there's a little description about I-Ching, and then it says I-Ching, or Book of Changes, is a historical collection of Chinese prophecies. They consist of 64 basic characters or hexagrams describing various themes and the connection between one's own actions and the resulting consequences without judging them in any way. So this database contains the information patterns of the I-Ching, which is very cool. And this is definitely one of the more unique databases that we have. And I know a lot of people that have heard of this before, when they realize that it's also on the Healy, they're like, whoa, that's really cool to be able to run an analysis of this database. So if you haven't done it before, definitely just go ahead and try that out and check out the results there. But while we're on this call, let me go to our YouTube channel. Let me see if I can find where that recording is. So
yeah, and you can take a look, like Jake said, those 64 hexagrams, you can go look at them. So basically, Healy's going to line you up with the 5 top ones relative to the client's needs, right? And then so you can go look them up. What do they mean? So yeah, it's a fun database.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so this is, as all of you on this call, I'm sure have seen it already, our Healy World Americas channel on YouTube. And you'll see, if you go, let's just go to I mentioned it was on the Healy for Beginners and Beyond sometime, last fall or something like that. You click on playlist, and then we're going to go to Healy for Beginners and Beyond, view full playlist. And then you'll see this is sorted from newest to oldest. So, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months ago, 5, and on. So you'll see here, September 7th, 2023, overview of the resonance databases. So let's go ahead and let's click on this. Oh, there's a nice solar ad here playing, but you can ignore that. But okay, so when you go to this video, you have this kind of description there, and you'll see at the end there's a more. If you click on more, you'll see all the different topics that we discussed on this particular call. So we have Bach flower remedies, Australian bush flowers, Alaskan gem elixirs, and so on. And you see here at the 53:39 mark, we talked about I-Ching. I'm not promoting solar or anything, so you can just ignore that. But so yeah, so you see here we went through, and that same screenshot that I just showed is kind of here along with all the different programs as well. There's 64 entries in the database. So you see the first 39 here, and then I believe later on here I went to some of the different. But anyway, we went through an analysis and kind of shared examples of what the analysis looks like. And then, for example, I did this on one of my dogs, Lexi, and you'll see here the top results, 61% relevancy. The decay came up, and it says symbolically stands for a wake-up call. It should shake one up to the point and point to the need to engage in self-criticism. So this one here symbolizes humility. So it's pretty simple to understand the results when you get these. So again, just if you want more information, again, go to our YouTube channel. Actually, I'll share the link here to this actual segment as well. You can do that by just going to I-Ching, right-clicking, copy link address, then I'll put that into the chat here, and that would take you right to that particular segment. So
isn't that great?
yeah.
pretty easy. You know, it's and I think I have even experimented with like going to like the channel and just putting in a keyword, and you'll see things pop up. Like if you put
Yeah,
in
yeah, that's another great option there.
mm-hmm. Let's see. So here was a question here about something happening to the blue dot about 4 days ago, an update, and then the blue dot stopped working. So it looks like you uninstalled and then tried to reinstall it and it won't work. So let's see. Henry's putting some content in there. Um, so the basically the app, any updates that were done, if it required an update from your smart device. So in other words, when you open the app, it would typically do an update. Um, and if it did something and stopped working, uninstalling it. But when people uninstall an app, it's really important that you actually turn your smart device off and then back on before reinstalling it, so that pretty much all of the remnants from any program you uninstall gets deleted, gets disconnected from any of the resources of the phone, and then reinstall it. Of course, if you reinstall it, you're going to have to re-log in, right? It's as if you had a brand new Healy, brand new account. It's going to have you do all the login stuff. With the Resonance app, it's going to send you a verification code to your email address that's on file. This is one of the things I have some struggle with some folks, is when they maybe something happened to their account, they start another account and a different email address, and then they go to log in to the Blue app and they think it's one email address when it's not. And so then an email authorization code gets sent to the email that's on file, and it's not the account you're looking at, right? So some confusion pops up there. It happens often. I get that kind of thing all the time. So we have to kind of go back to, what email is, or what email address is on that account. So making sure that the authorization goes and you go retrieve it from the proper account. So if you've done all that and say your app is not actually loading, there's some things to look at when you're downloading. You notice that the app does this raining kind of imagery right on the screen when it's downloading content. There's this little square like a phone, and you see this raining kind of sensation there, or graphics. It's downloading content, and that's where it's if you've downloaded or deleted the app and reloaded it, the app is just a skeletal structure of nothing until it links to an account, your account, then downloads content. If somewhere along the line it doesn't do that completely, whether your internet is disrupted, your Wi-Fi signal is low in bandwidth, or you're on your cell data network and it's not very, very strong. If that interruption happens, it's going to kick you out and you have to start over. So, so that's something I think, let's see, did Henry put some more content in there?
Yeah, he was just asking, is it happening in the Analyze 2 app, or is it happening during the process of trying to download the app via the App Store?
Yeah, so understanding exactly where the falter happens. And it's, let's see, so Madonna's saying white screen after I try to click and re-downloaded. I
Yeah,
turned off my
and is
phone.
it, if it is in the Analyze 2 app, are you able to put in your name or your email address and password, and then it's happening after you click next, or is it happening at a different point in the process? Is it happening as soon as you open the app before you can even enter any information?
Yeah, in other words, are you getting past the login screen or not?
Mhm.
Because that's again a couple of differentiations. If we're able to see exactly where something is happening, like you put in your login credentials and then it goes right to white screen or white
Mhm.
to some other, unfamiliar thing. So it's not even getting to the actual login component. And this could be a transfer from the app to where it's trying to find a pathway or an avenue through your data network or your Wi-Fi, trying to find the your account, and it's not even doing that.
Well, one of the things that I just mentioned is it can't download new one at all from App Store. So, just to be clear, are we talking about the Analyze 2 app or the old Healy Analyze app, the Blue Dot app that everyone referred
Yeah,
to it as?
right behind me, folks. You see in my
Look-
back screen here.
Okay.
So this screen is right behind me here. You can see
Yeah.
two pictures off of my shoulder here. The top one is the Healy 2, and the bottom one is the HealAdvisor Analyse 2. So those are two different graphics. They look a little bit different, right? Than the one that's way up here. This is the old app. So these two, it's significant differences. They're not supported anymore. We want to make sure that we're getting to the new app, and it's labeled HealAdvisor Analyse 2. Okay. So Blue Healy, it should say HealAdvisor Analyse 2. That's in your app store. We want to make sure we're there. And I have folks who that have both apps. I just recommend you delete the old ones, right? Clear them off and not use them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So Jake just put the link to the Apple store if you are an Apple user.
Yeah, because the old Analyze app, the Blue Dot app, the one that's been out for since kind of the beginning of Healy for the most part. That one is not. There's no resources being put toward that app. At some point it would stop working. It's not there yet, but everything new. The new app's been out for a year now, pretty much, and at least in some sort of testing form. But everything new at this point definitely should be using the new one on a regular basis. And there is a process to the first time you use the new one to transfer over clients and that kind of thing. But going forward, all the app development, all the resources, all that kind of thing are being put toward the new one. All the new programs, app modules, and that kind of thing are going to live in the new Analyze app, not the old one.
So here's some things. I go through this process often because it's important, and because here Madonna's saying it happened 4 days ago and have no idea why.
Yeah.
So I want you guys to understand, and I get this a lot as an engineer, and some people's talking about systems and circuits and things. And it's like, it was working great for 5 years, and all of a sudden today it stopped. And the reason that something quits working sometimes is because a resource has changed, or if an update now is utilizing the resource a little bit differently, and you have an older system, right? The new Healy Analyze apps require iOS version 12 and above. Okay, 12 and above. And if our systems or our device is older, or here's the other one I want you guys to really pay attention to, is if your device is very low on memory. That's going to be a really, really big one, because, and you really don't know unless you're looking, but all of a sudden things are starting to get a little glitchy, right? Even your text systems will get a little glitchy. And that's just because the resources on your smart device are very low. In other words, the memory available is really low. You can take a look at that within the settings. You can go and see what your resources are like. If you don't know how to do that, there's a YouTube for it, I promise you. You can go to your YouTube and say, how do I check the available memory on my iPhone 13 or whatever? There'll be something there. So this person has the iOS 17. So perfect. Now take a peek at the amount of memory on your smartphone. So that, and then take a peek at how many apps are running in the background. It's real important that you close down a bunch of ongoing apps that are in the background. When I say close down, I don't mean just swipe them away, but I mean hard close them. Hard close them, because everything that's running on your smart device is a program. It's everything, including when you're looking at your screen, there's a program running your screen. So All right, so 932 gigabytes available. You got plenty of room then. That's plenty of room. So we're not concerned about the operating system. We're not concerned about the memory. All right. So then you make sure all your apps are closed down in the background. So we're eliminating all of the, peripheral things that could be causing issues. Then once we eliminate all that, we can start taking a peek at, the app or the program itself, and seeing what's going on there. All right. So, and then there's, as Henry's putting in here, you can go to your shop and click on live chat and get some live help right there. It actually creates a ticket right there in real time. And then you can, you can get some help right away, because it's good to take a look at actually what's going on your smart device. There's some information that customer service would need to see. Okay. And there is hours of operation for the live chat, but it's really easy to access in your on your shop page. It's right there at the bottom right corner if you're on your smart device, or if you're on your laptop or something, it's right at the bottom of the screen. Live chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. Even if we can't solve it on the call tonight, our team will definitely be there to look more into this for you.
Yeah, because there was an update on the Advisor app, what, 5 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago. New version is 2.3.5. But there was something that went on about 5 days around where you're talking. So yeah, it's good to see what's going on. All right. Okay, here's a question. Does Healy use scalar energy? Do you guys know what scalar energy is? So scalar energy is it's a waveform that operates outside the speed of light. Pretty interesting theory. Healy uses quantum entanglement. Healy uses a random noise generator to engage with the client or the consciousness of the person, right? The client. And then does an analysis with the database based on the resonance of the person. Well, let me put it this way. The HealAdvisor app, right, uses the client content and then a random noise generator to sync the database with the needs of the client. Okay. And that client, I want you guys to know that there's no space that is restricting this client Healy interface. So once you've placed your attention on something, the energy goes there. So once Healy's attention through the Advisor app is placed on the client, then all associations with the analysis is therefore directed to the client. That's all done through quantum entanglement. So I don't know if I have not seen anything in the academy around scalar wave content.
No, yeah, I think I'm not familiar with, or I had not even heard of scalar waves or scalar energy until we launched the coil,
Yeah.
3 years ago or whatever it was. There was a lot of talk of, okay, what is this technology surrounding the coil? And it's, we don't mention anything official in our documentation about scalar waves because it's not the same. Our official description of how the coil works is that it's worked via quantum potential frequencies. And there's a nice, kind of overview, a one-page overview of how the coil works, how you get the opposing magnetic fields, which cancel each other out, and it allows pure information to be transmitted there. So, that's kind of a word that was thrown out there, but it never really came officially from Healy.
There's a lot of technology. There's a lot of understanding around cellular interface. If we go down to the creation or the structure of a cell, the solid structure, the skeletal structure of a cell is called microtubules. Okay, microtubules is like the skeletal structure of a cell. It's the more solid matter, I guess. It's not really solid, but it is the more dense matter of this blob of a cell. And the microtubule contains water. It is the, well, it has vibrational state to it. And it's got essentially there is liquids, water in there that information is traveling through from cell to cell through your water system in your body. And so scalar is this concept of a waveform that interfaces and communicates within this water platform. Okay, so does magnetic energy. And Healy's coil creates a magnetic wave that goes out and interfaces with this antenna, aka water system. And so information is transferred that way. Yeah, we to talk about scalar energy is another science in itself, which I don't think Healy really wants to get into, because there's a lot of I don't know, opinion, right? Healy's looking at science, and so looking at magnetic energy, there's some proven science around microcurrent. There's a lot of proven science around entanglement. We've talked about that here as well, the Nobel Prize in 2022 around quantum entanglement. And so using that content in that science. So that's where I think Healy wants to stay. Let's see. And then there's other products out there. Dory's talking about another product out there, another system.
Yeah,
So,
like, we're not going to be able to comment on a direct comparison between these products, but we do have some more information on how the coil works. In back office in the download section, there's a flyer on the coil. Then also there's a little bit of information in the Healy 2 app manual as well.
so like Jico said, the coil transmits magnetic fields. Okay, it takes the microcurrent that we would normally connect to with the wires and the wristbands or the sticky pads. It takes that same microcurrent and it runs it through, and you can see on this coil or on this printed circuit board. This is a printed circuit board on the back. They call it PCB in electronics, you guys.
Yeah.
It's you can see kind of it's a circular system here, right? So these two pins on the coil connect inside the electronic circuit inside of Healy that transmits the microcurrent. And microcurrent is electron flow. So I don't know if you guys ever did any experiments in school, probably like, I don't know, middle school, junior high, something like that, where you took a nail and you wrapped a copper wire around the nail,
Yeah.
and then you connected the two ends of the copper wire to a battery, right? And then all of a sudden the nail becomes a magnet. Well, that's exactly how you run electron flow through a coil to produce a magnetic field. Okay, so that's exactly what's going on here. We're taking microcurrent or electron flow, running it through these two pins on the coil, and that runs it in a circular design, right? Because the coil is a coil, it's circle. It runs that electron flow through that circle, not only one, but there are two circles in there, by the way. There's two coils in there. So the electron flow is going one way, and then there's another 180-degree opposed coil that runs that current to make a magnetic field the other way. So now you have two magnetic fields, guys. Now take a look. If we take this coil and put it this way, we have a magnetic field coming this direction, and we have a magnetic field coming this direction. They're 180 degrees off. And in the middle is the coil. Well, when it's connected to the Healy and it's on your body, guess who's in the middle? You're in a magnetic sandwich, right? And that magnetic sandwich, because you have two magnetic fields going opposite directions, it creates what's called a 0-point field. 0-point field in the middle, meaning essentially it's kind of a clear space where there's void of content. And then the frequencies that that those magnetic waves are oscillating at, which is the frequencies that your app is transmitting to the Healy, and the Healy is transmitting to what? You, because you're in the middle of that field, right? So now you're in the center and you're in the 0-point field. It's kind of like a little clear space for pure frequency to be implemented to you. Is that cool? Super cool. And because your body is mostly water, it's standing there as a walking, talking antenna, receiving the information in this super cool little void field. I like to call it my little protective Healy bubble. I'm in there. I'm in there hanging out, getting all this great information into my body. Okay. So there's a little 101 on the coil and microcurrent and how to make a magnet at home with a nail.
Yeah, that's it brought back some memory. Classic science class experiment.
Science class 101, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay.
I think we're caught up right now. So let's see.
I love it. Yeah, one of the things I get a lot of questions, by the way, comparing Healy to other products. And here's I a long time ago, in working in the field of technical electronics, I used to get a lot of stuff when it came to products and questions and comparisons. And as I'm creating something, I know all the details about that. And as I'm studying something, I know all the details about that. If somebody comes up and says, hey, well, what about this product? I don't know a lot about that. And even if I wanted to, I probably wouldn't do a lot of study on that because I know the benefits of what I've got. And when I have folks that ask me about other products and compare the two, there's a lot of great products out there. But I know what I know about Healy, and it really does transcend so many platforms that it's really hard to compare. Sometimes it's just not apples for apples when you're doing comparisons, right? And it's good to have common ground when you're doing comparisons, because if it's something way unlike something else, I don't try to stretch that far personally. Okay. Do we have another question? So Dory's asking, is there anything besides business that is being covered on Saturday, on that Super Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We one of the biggest things that we're going to be discussing is the new Elements by Healy World, the new dietary supplement line. We have Dr. Albert Garoli doing a live presentation on that as well. Of course, we'll be talking about Obsidian Edition. We'll be talking Marcus Schmiko is going to be on the call. Christian Halper is going to be on the call. Christian Dorner, Luciano, like we have Peter and Carla, and like we have Adriana, like we have a whole lineup, and it's not just business. No, so definitely join us for that call. Even if you can't join for the entire part of the call, we're going to be sharing some great information and make sure that you are able to participate. So,
I think I would suggest being there for, if nobody else, now this is me as a sciencey guy, but for Dr. Albert, right? Gorelli, he's going to talk a lot about the new Elements line and its influence on your body and how it's doing that, these signaling systems, right? I am fascinated by that guy because of the content that he talks about and the way he describes the interface between body and the new element system. I was there in Mexico, and he was not live there, but I listened to a presentation he did, and I'm telling you what, when it comes to if the interface with the body and this new elements line, you gotta tune in for that. I mean,
Yeah,
other
that video was amazing. I mean, really kind of, you look at the Elements product, you're like, okay, that's cool. But when you really look, think deep about why every single ingredient was chosen, it's really, really impressive, and they can make you definitely excited to try these products once they're available.
well, our bodies, folks, a lot of what I do in the background is I do a lot of the epigenetic type of teaching and interfacing, meaning that our thoughts, our beliefs, and behaviors have influence on these bodies. The Bruce Lipton talked about this way back in the 70s. Right? If you guys are not familiar with Dr. Bruce Lipton, you should look him up. But he talked about that environment has an influence on genetic coding. And this is a good segue into how Healy works with you. It is working with the environment of your body, right? Sending magnetic energy into your body, influencing that expression of the genetic coding, aligning things, increasing cell membrane voltage, really digging down deep into the micro environment of you, so that then the macro or the bigger environment of you can show improvements or alignments. But when it comes to the elements line, you're going to discover that it's really working hard at signaling expressions and creations in the body, more so than actually giving you food, I guess you might say, or giving you things. It's signaling actions like commands. Like on your keyboard, you're typing things in, you're making commands, you're moving the mouse around in your computer, making commands, clicking on things. That's making commands of your computer, similar to what this new line of elements is going to be doing. So you got to be there.
Yeah, and I do not know what time he's going to be speaking. I don't have the sorry, the agenda broken down by that. But
Yeah, I think it was. So by the way, folks, you can look at the recording for What's Up Wednesday last week. That's on the YouTube page, and you can take a look at a semi-accurate agenda. Things could be changing, but
yeah, we'll be talking more about it tomorrow, actually.
there you
So
go.
tomorrow is probably the most updated um, as far as content goes there. But yeah, so definitely join us at 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow at HealyWUW.com.
If you can't be there live, of course, the recording will be on the
Yeah,
YouTube page. You can grab that before the call on Saturday,
yeah,
right?
and so the question, will there be a replay of Saturday's event for those in other countries? I can't guarantee it. So if you want to make sure that you catch it, check it live. A lot of times when we have some of these special guests or speakers, that we are not actually able to post some of these recordings on our YouTube channel. So, if you want to make sure that you do not miss out on anything, certainly register for the call and then join us for the call, even if you have it on in the background while you're doing something else. Make sure you don't, when that segment comes on that you really want to be able to check, you can focus on it at that time.
So here's a question. Well, here's a request. May I have the link for resetting one's password, please? So here's if you just go to your shop page, right? It doesn't matter how you do it, on your smart device, or on your desktop or laptop. Go to your shop page and go to log in. When you put your username in, you can have a forgot password, right? And then you click on that, and it's going to give you a link to reset that. If you try to do it from, I don't know if you're a member, if you try to do it from your back office, different. Do it from your shop page.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a question here, a great question. This has happened to me before too, but when the MagHealy is off, so technically say it's in position 1, but it's on the charger. And sometimes you're like, well, how did my app connect to my MagHealy if it's in position 1? So kind of when it's on the charger, it pretty much overrides any of the positions. It's sort of it is charging, but you're able to connect to it. If you're for some reason it keeps connecting to it, just take it off the charger temporarily in position 1. It won't happen at that point. But in position 1 on the charger, even if it's not technically off at that point, you're still able to, it's charging and able to connect also at that point, even in position 1, if it is on the charger. So that is normal behavior. There was nothing wrong there.
Yeah, by the way, the Healy works the same way, by the way, when you have it plugged in, like for instance, when you have your Healy and you press the button in the center, right?
Yeah.
It comes on, and then or if the battery's dead, it flashes 5 times and goes off. But if you have it plugged in, it's on. It's essentially on. And so when you go to open the app, it's going to find anything, any Healy or any MagHealy that's on the charger, that's being charged in that moment. So it'll find them all and try to connect or allow you to.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Here's somebody's question here. Owner says, a few weeks back, I brought up that the pet wire broke on the sensor. I recently received a package from you to fix my animal wiring. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Well, hey, there you go. I love that little.
We like to take care of our loyal Tech Tip Tuesday participants. So one of the benefits of joining us live is that we're able to, maybe offer a little bit more of a personalized support experience there.
Yep. I love it. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
For those well
Happy
wishes.
we were able to help. So
all right.
thank you, Henry, for posting that password reset link.
There you go. I have, it's one of those interesting flows of events. I have folks that are, that I chat with about resetting a password, and then they go to log in their advisor and it doesn't work. And it's like, because there is a way that flow works to update all of the login credentials. So yeah, using that reset password email that you get is going to be your channel or your pathway. Let's see. Are we caught up? We are. All right. So when it comes to that reset function, I want you guys to kind of look at the series. You say you click on forgot password, right? And then you're going to get an email because it's going to want your email address associated with your account. As I mentioned before, if you have a couple of accounts and different emails, there's where it gets confusing. And so you want to make sure you understand your account and the email that you set. Now, if customer service has changed your email for you because maybe an old email address got deactivated, this happens. Again, it's sometimes a little bit of a sequence of events to get you back online again. Be patient and work with customer service, and that chat line is really helpful so that you guys can get back in line with your account. Healy has some very specific protective mechanisms in place for you guys, so that when you have an account, right, you've paid for a service, you've paid for an edition, and it's fair that you get all the contents for that edition and unique to you. So if it wasn't as strict in terms of security, maybe someone else would take your content and use your account, right? You don't want that. So this verification process and authentication process is necessary so that you're protected. Okay. So Dory had another suggestion or a little kudos for us, I guess. Your suggestion for getting my expert tan programs to work worked. So yay. Awesome.
All right.
We like it when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, so these expert programs, this is a great way where we can get some customization even further than what the 300 plus programs we already have.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. You can even go deeper into customizing things and getting with a specialist, a time waiver practitioner or expert.
Yeah.
All right. Yay, we're still caught up, Jake.
Yeah. I think we're doing pretty good tonight. Keeping up. So.
And looks like the rain is let up in my world too. So
Oh, there you go.
hey,
Oh, actually, here's a good question. So it says, can you run two apps on the same time on a dog? So this goes, Ken, a lot of times we've talked on this call using maybe a Healy with a coil at the same time as a Healy with the wristband electrode or something like that, or running the Analyze app at the same time as running a program with a coil or that kind of thing. So with a dog, in theory, sure. I mean, you could. I think you have to be a little bit more careful on doing something like this though, because it's harder for a pet to say, okay, this is a little bit too much, right now, and especially if you're using microcurrent, you'll notice when we're using the recommendation for the animal when using the animal module, the animal kit. I think the max is like 30 or 40%
30.
intensity there too. So this is not something that, unless you have experience with this, I wouldn't recommend you just go out and start running two Heelys on your dog at the same time, because again, as we always say, less is more, and it's harder for a dog to tell you that, hey, I've had enough of this. So, I mean, Ken, I think this is it's something to be very careful with.
I
Um,
I agree. And let's look at something from another perspective in just surface area
yeah,
or physical mass. Because you got a little tiny toy chihuahua,
yeah,
right? And you're the waves, the frequency energy, the magnetic waves coming out of the coil, right? And your amplitude adjustments, the wave doesn't change, the frequency doesn't change, but the amplitude does. So we can make it stronger. And so even the lowest setting on a magnetic wave that's coming against a antenna that's
mhm,
180 pounds, right? Versus 1 pound,
yeah,
right? If you're looking at just sheer mass. Now remember, I said these bodies are antennas. They're walking, talking antennas. How is this antenna or how is this body conductive? Well, basically two components, the water and the minerals in your body. Same with an animal. Same with an animal. Doesn't matter what the animal is, the water and the minerals within that animal um, is what makes up the quote unquote antenna of the receiver that's pulling in these magnetic waves. So a small dog, right? And how many dogs out there are 180 pounds? I'm 180 pounds. I don't know. I don't have a dog that's that big, right? I don't. My dog's 50 pounds. So it's over 3 times less, almost 4 times less
mhm,
my size. And so if I'm sending magnetic waves, or even I've got the pads on my animal, I'm going to make sure it's really low, really low. And take a peek at your pet, because when you're giving the frequencies and your pet is kind of maybe agitated, that's a symptom of a misunderstanding or too much influence that's coming on them. If they're sitting there sleeping and just their tongues hanging out and they're in bliss, going woohoo, you know, you're probably doing okay. But But
Yeah.
like Jake said, less is more. Okay.
Yeah, and since their pets are so sensitive to this stuff too, I would really just do one at a time. I wouldn't try to
Yep.
do that. You don't have to run these programs for a long period of time. So, you can run a few different programs spaced out throughout the day, that kind of thing. Use the Analyze app, maybe more as well. But
And remember what I said earlier about how consciousness influences the random noise generator within the analysis system. So consciousness is one of those things that is attached to a part of your brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. Humans, 40% of their brain is the prefrontal cortex. A dog, it's like 14%, right? A cat, do you think it's more or less? It's less. It's 8. People think that, so the prefrontal cortex, the seat of your consciousness is there. And the bigger the prefrontal cortex, the seat of consciousness, the bigger, the more analytical. I mean, sorry, true story. Humans are super analytical. Pets aren't. Pets aren't. They're just accepting, believing, surrendering, right? They just love you. They just think, okay, you're giving me something, I'll take it. And so they're not really resisting what you're doing, unlike a human tends to have an opinion about things, a belief about things, and could be resistive to things. And so, even magnetic waves, folks, like I said, even though you're an antenna, if you have a resistive, reluctant nature, your whole system is in that state. So magnetic waves of higher frequency than you may not bounce off, but just not be absorbed as much. So animals are not like that. So when you start cranking up the energy, they're just taking it all in, right?
Mhm.
So be very caring when it comes to the pets.
Yeah.
I like Dory's question here. Is there a faster way to get the percentage up to 100? No. So I know.
No. Yeah,
Press.
you're not missing out on some secret tip to, if you hold it down for 3 seconds, it goes to 100% or something like that. And again, you got to keep in mind, Healy in the U.S. it's considered a FDA Class 2 medical device, and I don't know the exact reason why, but I would think you wouldn't necessarily want to be able to suddenly or accidentally go all the way to 100%, especially if you're, yes, it takes a little bit of time, but
Yeah.
it's,
You said the key word there, Jake, accidentally. So when it's an FDA cleared device or
yeah.
anything within a quote unquote medical environment, the prevention methods for accidents is huge. It's
Mhm.
huge. So that there's no accidents. Why do you think that you can't plug your charger in at the same time as the wires are connected? You know why? The cabinet is made so that you cannot connect to a outlet right in your house. I mean, look at it this way. You've got 120-volt outlet in your home, in your power supply system, and then you have a converter box plugged into that and a cord that goes to your Healy, right? So there's essentially a pathway for power current from the 120-volt source right to your Healy. So they're not going to let you connect to your body and close that circuit, right? Even though there's a lot of safety precautions between there, but still, in the very odd occurrence that a lightning strike hits your power source of your house, I'm having a heck of a storm here, thunder, lightning, all kinds of stuff. Now, folks, I want you to understand when a lightning strike hits, that's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of volts. Okay. And when it hits a power source or the electrical system of your house, it can shoot current flow bolts between outlet to outlet on two different sides of the room. So if you've got your Healy plugged in and you're connected to you, we don't want that.
Yeah.
Remote, very, very rare, but still, that's why they do that. They go really above and beyond safety.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a good question. Last question, probably. Maybe, I
Yeah.
don't know. When may it be advisable to run the blue dot instead of the pink dot? So two different modalities here. The pink dot or the Healy 2 app right here above me. So that's designed to implicate microcurrent, right? Electron flow. And that electron flow out of the Healy device is either put directly into the body or converted to magnetic wave with the coil. Okay. That's its only job. The only way that it has a target or a client to send to is if that person is connected via the wires or is in proximity of the hardware with the coil. Okay, so when you're running the pink dot, there is no client assigned to it, is there? You don't have to put in a client in the app, and you just run it. It's giving the benefits to whoever it's connected to or in proximity to. So that's a whole different modality. It's designed to be very, I don't like to say very, but more physical, right? The being of the body, the three-dimensional body in space and time. That's its biggest job. The blue dot out on the other side of that coin is really meant for the metaphysical, right? The non-physical side of the body. That's really where it orbits. And so it's going to be work, and this is why you put a content about a client, right? Name, birthday, content, or whether it's an animal or a person or a plant, whatever. There's still content there that assigns a very distinct target, right? A client is basically the pinpointed focus of Healy. So two different arenas. If you're looking at tangible physical matter, maybe a good idea to go with the pink dot. You're looking at more distance or emotional, spiritual, non-physical, blue dot. Now, I say both. I say both. There's no reason why you just do one or the other. Both is very effective because we're speaking to both tangible and non-tangible, right? Seen and unseen. And Nikola Tesla said 100 years ago, he said that the day that science starts to work with the non-physical, the unseen, right? It'll make more progress in 1 decade than science has in its preceding existence. So it's a very important aspect. Henry put some great content in there about exactly what, some of the parameters are, basically IMF programs versus the other modalities. So there you go. Hey, by the way, folks, if you want to save the content in the chat, so look for 3 little dots in your chat box, either the bottom or at the top. Click on those. You can do it right now. If you're on your laptop or PC, click on those and you'll see Save Chat. If you click on Save Chat, at the end of our call, you'll get a box that pops up on your screen that says Save Chat. Okay. All right. So one little quick one we can, Jake, you want to add anything to that about the?
No, that was great. Yeah.
Okay. So here Dory's asking about, about some Rife technologies different than Healy. Well, guess what? Healy has all those Rife frequencies. You know that? You guys didn't know that? Well, they do. So in the on your Pink app, well, you can use it same in the analytics too. But in your Pink app, you've got a category there that is called the power of 3. All right. If you've got that on your device, it only comes with specific additions, but power of 3, and you'll see some classical physical and classical energetic. Those are the Rife frequencies in there, guys. Let's see. Marcus did something on that. Gosh, when they first launched this power of 3 quite some time ago.
Yeah, man, that was quite some time ago now. So,
Way back when.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So again, the Rife frequencies with the physical body and with the energetic body. Those two categories, that's the classic physical, the classic energetic. Again, like I said, within the power of 3. Okay, you guys, here we are, the end of the hour. Thank you, Henry, very much for all your help and stuff in the background. It's awesome to have. I love having customer service right here with us, joining us every week.
Yeah. Sorry, Ken, before we go, for those of you looking or wanting to find out what's going on with the next Healy for Beginners and Beyond, originally we had it scheduled for this Thursday. We're not gonna be able to do it this Thursday, so we're trying to figure out a date for next week, but we'll announce that as soon as we can. So,
yay. Healy for Beginners and Beyond. You guys, if you don't know about that, that's also on the YouTube page. You can go and take a look at all the cool episodes before. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here, Jake. Appreciate you a lot. It's great to have, corporate on here and customer service. So hopefully you guys found some value. If you did, great. Share it. Tell people to join us next week. All right, for now, ta-ta. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Henry.